As families grow, their home needs change. If you need to make some improvements to your home, West Tennessee Bank can help. Our home improvement loans are designed to help you live more comfortably. West Tennessee Bank, a division of Decatur County Bank. We think you'll like us. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
All right, we do have a quorum present, so we'll go ahead and proceed with the meeting. Now, tonight is a special meeting, so the only things we can discuss are the things on our agenda. And the first is going to be the lighting of the football stadium and the soccer field. And we've got some bids on that. Would you like to, I think you've been working with this, and you want to cover it?
3 handouts in front of you. Billy Gordon from Southwest Electric is here. He put together most of these. He's going to just kind of point out the differences, because in the lighting pages themselves, it's just right there neck and neck. So it's a lot, so you can see what there is to look at. And we also have Mr. Greg Gilly from Musco, one of the vendors, with us if you have any questions about their package. But I'll let Mr. Gilly explain each one of these sheets to you and then try to make some sense of it because I feel. All right.
Let's talk about this sheet right here first. The smaller sheet, it's got a couple boxes on it. At the very top it says football field, soccer field, summary of results. Here was the approach that we took on this project. We wanted to, at first we talked about bidding the light package. We knew that was going to be about $100,000 for the lights. And then we had a bunch of options on that. We wanted to make sure we didn't sell ourselves short on options. So when we bid the lighting package, we thought we may also bid the electrical package at the same time. Well, the problem with that is the electricians don't know exactly what they're bidding on until you select the lighting package. So we did a two-stage approach. We did lighting package with a little bit longer. We requested a longer time for the vendors to actually hold the quota for 90 days, I believe it was. So we could get those 60 days. So we could get those. We could evaluate them, and then we could send the electrical request out based on those packages. So that's why it's taken us so long to get to this point. And we wanted to make sure that the bottom line price for the school system was within the budget. So at the very top of the list up here, let's look at electrical installation costs. Our budget on that, based on my rough estimate, was $56,250. We opened bids on that Friday, and the apparent low bidder was SM Lawrence at $41,760. The next closest bid to that was Jack Hornsby Electric at $49,765. So we contacted SM Lawrence and clarified a few things in their bid package. They've done work for the school system before, and so Brett feels confident that they'll do a good job. My guys have worked with them before, and so we feel like that's a pretty good price. That's a difference of $8,500. We had 2 or 3 other bids, and they were just higher and higher from there. So we feel like that's a good price. Let's get to the bigger ticket item. That's the lighting hardware cost. So that's poles, arms, and lights. The budget on that was $96,000. That's for both fields. We had 2 qualified bidders. One was high enough that they were an outlier. We couldn't consider them. The 2 bidders was a company called Musco and a company called Qualite. And I have some of their comparisons below at the bottom down there. And Brett and I went back and forth, and Greg Gilly and the guys at Musco and the guys at Qualite helped us out, because we had a lot of extra questions after we received the bids. Brett and I feel like we've thoroughly gone through everything. But at this point, I believe what we want to recommend is Qualite. First of all, they were the apparent low bidder, and we looked at some other costs too. Like, what is it going to cost to have the lights on for 30 years? So we made an estimate of how many games and how many hours per game. There were a couple other exceptions. One for the Musco bid was that we had to backfill in concrete. That wasn't in our budget, about a $2,000 adder. So the difference right off the bat, if you look at lighting hardware costs, Musco came in at $103,000. Which was a difference of $7,200. So these proposals, we wanted to look at them and make sure we picked the best bidder, not just necessarily the lowest. When we started looking at the difference between the 2, at this point, Brett and I feel like the lowest actually is the best, both on initial cost. There's includes like a 30-year warranty that comes with the product. There's a lot of things that are similar, but we check some references with Qualite and feel like they're qualified to provide the product. So they're the apparent low, just on initial price. They also end up being the evaluated low. So with the combination of those two, $41,760 for the electrical and $95,800, those are the two vendors or slash contractors that we'd like to move forward with for the lighting project at both locations. If that be the case, let's look at this taller sheet up here. So originally I sent an estimate that I threw together, and what I wanted to do is say, with the pricing that came back, how are we falling in our estimate so far? And what I did, the original estimate is everything that's rainbow and colored in, and I went back and separated it by who's paying for that part. So the light pink or the red is the lighting package, everything that's included in the lighting package. The yellow is everything that I felt the electrical contractor should provide. And then the blue or the gray is our products, things that Southwest is going to assist the school system and electrical contractor with. And if you'll notice on the lighting package, if we select the vendors that we talked about, at $95,800, we are dead on the nose for what our budget's going to be. Actually, a difference of $200. The electrical contractor, it looks like if SM Lawrence is selected, will actually be $14,490 under budget. So we were talking Friday when we opened the electrical bids, Britt and I, it appears like the project, should we select these two bidders, we were looking at overall the $200,000 budget. Obviously, there's still some costs left there for Southwest. We need to get power to the edge of the site. Our guys are going to assist the contractor with setting poles and those things. But it looks like the project should be well under budget if we move forward with these two vendors. So Britt and I were satisfied with the conversation back and forth with the vendors, the answers that they gave us. And we would like to propose both SM Lawrence as electrical contractor and Qualite Lighting. You guys approve of that?
I make a motion to approve the selected vendors.
I second.
We have a motion to second to go with these two vendors. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. All right, we'll go with the two low bids. All right, the next thing on the agenda is the request for proposal for the mowing services. What do we have? Do you have that information?
Did a proposal, just had guys come in and give proposals just in case. And I guess the reason it sort of arrived at just looking at this possibility, we've had a couple of guys retire and move on. And some of the things that I just noticed in watching is that a lot of our guys spend a predominant part of their time mowing, and a lot of the things that are in our schools with the plumbing, the electrical, just the general upkeep like tile and things, a lot of times get pushed to the back burner. Even the HVA systems are sorely behind in getting the filters and the cleaning that they desperately need. So I just kind of looked at, we did had Stacy do a comparison of what it would cost if I hired one guy. I think she did the comparison and hired one full-time and two part-time to come onto the crew to help with the mowing versus seeing if somebody could, outside vendor could provide the services and not hire anybody else and stay with the current crew that we have and look to specialize them more. Got bids from 3 different vendors. LSI is a national corporation. They more contract with a local person, but we did it per cut. So if they cut all the campuses in all the areas one time, they were at $3,000. Mike Barclay with Lawn Solutions was the lowest at $1,900, and then had one from Turf Obsessions, which is Mark Hooper, and came in at $2,750. So Mike Barclay submitted a lower proposal. That's trimming, mowing, and also using Roundup in areas like around the building. And that he did, I had them also provide, like if they did like maintenance care of the hedges, they have good thing. We wanted to contract that at one time.
What are we talking about, a total?
If you do, we have asked in the proposal that they cut it every week. And that starts, which of course you necessarily wouldn't need that in March, but we start them from March 1st through, which basically is a year. You can have them mowed as often as, but we're asking once a week that they provide that service.
I mean, what dollar figure are you talking?
Oh, well, it's $1,900.
Well, I mean,
so,
you're gonna have to mow it every week.
oh yeah, 30, should be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30 cuts. So 30 to 35 is I think what they
I think we need to look at this a little longer before we make a decision on this, my opinion. But that's, I agree with you.
You're gonna have to hire 2 more men, is that right?
Well, you can,
That's what's been doing.
that's, yeah, they've had to, plus, well, the whole crew hits the mowing.
That's
And it-
2,000.
It usually gets them at least 3 to 4 days a week, depending on the weather. Depending on equipment. It's like they mowed all day today. But I think that was like 3 or 4 of them.
How many mowers we got working?
Should have 3, I think we have 3.
And then somebody.
And then we have a tractor every once in a while, depending on what we've done. And then we have the weed eaters, which I think each one of them has one on the bus.
Could we not look at hiring some part-time
Some
help
local,
for this time of the year for, you know,
Well, you know, I
25,
learned this past week, that's exactly how Mr. Pusser came to work for us. You know, he worked, Kathy Coveney Mays hired him just to mow.
Yeah.
Of course, the mowing that we're doing now is more than the mowing. Of course, he was mowing the tractor with the mower attachment on it then. Now we're using those zero-turn radius mowers.
You could, the biggest thing that if you just do it with part-timers is will they be around the next time, like when they're off a couple of 3 or 4 months and then you bring them back. Anticipated maybe doing that if there was some, that way having one of the main guys on the crew. You gotta have somebody who always knows where to cut, because we have some of the oddest property lines I've ever seen. When we drew up the bid, I went to each campus and we marched it off. If you've ever been out to Westchester, you have to drive through the woods and up around somebody. So it's, if you didn't have somebody who knew how to do it each time, it would require you to retrain part-timers. You mow here, you don't mow here, which wouldn't be a big.
Well, they usually mow 2 together, don't they?
yeah.
That's what it looks like when I see there's 2 mowers. Right?
Oh, yeah, there's usually
Not everywhere I see them.
2 and sometimes 3, but they'll have weed eaters going. The biggest problem with their hours is we're always in school when they're in, and I think with most schools, you're gonna get a call here, they threw grass on my car, or at the high school, they pull.
Well, are these guys not gonna mow during school hours?
No, they can't mow close to the school during school hours. They can mow the fields and things, but part of the proposal is they can't mow
That's what we need to do
during.
with our guys then. Tell them,
I mean, we can adjust our guys out.
yeah, I was gonna say we need to adjust ours out then because if they can do it, our guys should be able to also, or I think they should, I mean, because I'm sure they do throw rocks. I mean, if you mow.
When you take the cost of, when you did the analysis, I think 1 full-timer and 2 part-timers was gonna cost us, if I remember correctly, Stacy had on the list, $56,000 is what their, one's benefits plus the 2 part-timers' salary.
Yeah, but I think we can hire part-timers for less than what's on that sheet. $18 an hour.
I think the 2 part-timers were factored into that, or is it 15? 15,000 or $15?
$15 an hour for part-time. It was just taking the existing part-timers that we had and
We just gotta watch their hours that they work. Like, part-timers can only go, was it
25.
25 a week, 25 to 29 a week.
I make a motion we table this right now and do a little more research on looking at maybe doing something part-time, or Ricky might have some seniors that want to work.
You know, your son's going to college, you may need a job.
If he needs to work.
I don't know about tabling it, because it's time to mow
It's time to
now.
mow.
Well,
I mean, we're mowing,
But
we can do it.
You can't do it, how you gonna, you need to, I need some more information before I vote on it, period,
Well,
tonight.
I think, I would just like to see some part-time people hired. I do not want it contracted out. That's where I stand.
If it's look like Madison County, I sure was right.
Which we did investigate why Madison County, and she went with the janitorial services that bid out the mowing, that don't do mowing, and then they did it on every 2 weeks.
I saw parents.
Some of them didn't mow
there.
it
Sometimes they
in a
don't mow
month.
it, which, it was a vendor trying to contract a vendor, I think trying to find another vendor because they couldn't handle the load.
And we'll wind up with, I mean, they'll mow on Sunday. That'll be the day that they'll mow, would be Sunday, somebody that you contract out.
Which 2 of them are local, I don't know if Mike, I don't know if he's a Sunday guy, but I know they would mow on Saturday.
I mean, I'd like to get some more information on it.
Okay,
I
me
mean,
too, me too.
We have a motion, do I have a second to table?
Second,
You second, Doris?
I do.
Okay, we have a motion, second to table this right now, to get more information, any other discussion?
What kind of more, let's be
Well,
specific,
look
what
at-
more information?
Doing something with part-time people,
Like, now specifically, you asking like, do we need to go ahead and ask or just offer this as a possible option for people to consider employment for part-time and then go ahead and consider rates?
you
Because
know.
like you said, we're already in the mowing
Yeah.
season.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
what
issues
mowing
we're trying to
is.
address is, we've got issues in the schools that we want to make sure that we're resolving the maintenance.
You know, if it's something that they can do part-time year-round, yeah.
If we
Well, I just
hire
wanna-
2 people, what do you say, 25 hours a week, that keeps them part-time, is that correct?
29.
29.
But I'd rather
Below
be closer
30.
to 25.
You want to be
Okay.
close in case they have to go.
25, because then if you have to pay full-time benefits.
Yeah.
I know, to stay out of that, can 2 people not do the job? Can 2 people do the job? Mowing constantly, they don't have to get off to go, do anything except mow.
Clean the toilet or.
Nothing, they just mow.
Henderson County does that. What's they have, I'm gonna say it's 3 people that mow 9 campuses, and that every once in a while you have to pull off and help them. Or the others have to pull.
Well,
He has a crew,
I
I think he has 2, it might be 2, and then a crew, he has a crew of 5 total, plus him. 3 designated, now 2 mow, like you're saying, they mow constantly, and we played with that idea as well, just to, like I said, see if we could hire somebody. Still, I would still say you need somebody that's full-time attached to the ground, so they know.
Well,
because you
maybe the first time they go and you show them, where to mow.
show them the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what see what we can find, people, like I say, a couple of them.
So rather than tabling, is what I'm
Let's-
trying to
let's do it.
ask
Let's
is,
just do that.
Oh,
go ahead and solicit some potential
Part-time.
part-time employees. And we'd have to shop around, find out what the comparable rate is.
Don't you think 2 would be okay?
I would
do
start
it.
there
Yeah.
with 2, and see where that goes.
I'd just rather do that.
I know.
I had just rather do
Yeah.
that.
and if they work for us, I mean,
Yeah,
that's right.
and if they don't do the job right,
And hire somebody else.
that's right.
So we're gonna wanna try to hire somebody, 2 people?
Make the motion.
I make,
Okay.
make a motion, we hire 2 part-time employees to do the mowing.
I say.
Okay, can I ask another question now that you got?
I still almost want to see it side by side though, without just saying that's what we do. I mean, we do know it's right at 35 mows at 1,900 is right at 70,000, 60 some odd $1,000. The estimate on what they put together is $56,000.
But that
So
was
that's-
$18 an hour.
Right, I'm saying that. He said it was 15.
The 2
Part-timers.
Part-time,
Right.
Correct.
I think it's
So
18,
still, that's
full-time, right?
$14,000, so we got a little, still you got a lot of savings. I just would want to see it side by side on what we decide.
Yeah.
But
But I mean, we're gonna hire somebody for
seems like
less
you
than
could save, easily
$14 an hour
save
part-time.
off $70,000.
Mhm.
Do you, what I was gonna ask, is there a willingness to trust that we seek out a comparable rate as far as the rate per hour for these part-timers? Or do you wanna, what I'm asking is, do you wanna leave that to us, or do y'all have a pretty good idea of what an hourly rate would be?
I know that there's one of the larger companies who's advertising now in Jackson is hiring at $15 an hour.
Large company.
Yeah, that does JEA sites, things
Yeah.
like that. So that would be just one I know that's hiring as we speak.
But I'd say you can probably hire somebody $10, $12 an hour starting part-time.
Well, I don't want to keep them poor,
No.
but $12, is $12, is that a fair, for here, Jackson, Madison County is a little higher.
Part-time.
We're providing the equipment.
The equipment, yeah.
That's right. Is that a fair rate, $12?
It's more than a lot of people now. I think so too.
Can we vary their hours as well, like, see if
Yeah,
they can?
I mean, they be working for you.
Yeah.
You schedule them.
That way we can always, if you start a little later in the afternoon, when everybody's.
Start later, or
You
go
can
on
mow a
the
lot
weekend,
faster
or
when
maybe
you're not
mow on
mowing during school
Saturdays.
hours.
That's right. Yes, I understand that.
Yeah,
3:30 till
7:30.
7:30, mow lots of grass.
Stop the distraction at school.
Okay, so basically, we're
Did
gonna
that
say.
answer your question, Troy? I mean, is that okay with
That's
y'all?
giving us, obviously, if we don't have anybody that takes us up on the $12 an hour, I'll come back and ask.
What is minimum wage?
Less than $12 an hour.
Is it 8 or 7?
I don't know.
It's like $7.25.
How much?
$7.25.
$7.25, yeah.
Okay, so we do have a motion second, I'm confused, that we're gonna hire 2 part-time people at $12 an hour, is that correct?
That's correct.
Or the other stuff?
Yes.
25 hours.
25 a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you not go to 29? I mean, I've heard it was 32.
No,
Is it not
30.
32? It's 30.
You hit
Okay.
30, you got it, but you go to 29, you
You gotta
just,
be under 30.
or you
got
cut
it.
it, at the end of
What?
the week, if you need something done and they hit 29.
Well, we don't cut it that way,
I was
okay?
gonna say, what I was saying, if we say 25, they might end up working an hour or 2 extra.
Okay.
Right, but that way we be sure.
Keep them below 30.
Right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor of hiring 2 people part-time, say aye. Opposed, no. All right, we'll do that. All right, everyone, that is all on the agenda tonight.
Make the motion to adjourn.
I say,
Motion second, all in favor, say aye. Go back to these lightings. Are they on schedule, are they gonna be on the schedule, when they gotta be completed?
So the delivery time is 6 weeks for the lighting materials to show up. The electrician in that amount of time can go ahead and be doing his underground bores. So I would say about 10 weeks, we should probably have lights up.
Both people?
Being done for football season. Girls soccer.
Girls soccer.
Boys gonna have to play in the dark.
One more season.
Y'all can suck it up.
That's right, one more season.